I think the first step is talking about it. Like when you have it, share it with people. Because the bottom line is people will not know what you're going through if you don't tell them. Like, oh, I'm going through postpartum depression, even if they are clueless. Because the people that are told, even though they were clueless, they still, they were able to Google it or research about it, and then they can know how to help.
Welcome to the show. I am your host, Anya Fombat, and I spark the heart conversations that challenge questionable cultural and societal norms that threaten the well-being of the African community. And I also share stories about growing up as Africans in Africa and in the diaspora. I strongly believe that normalizing open discussions and sharing experiences, whether good or bad, will not only make you find your voice, but will broaden your sense of purpose and empower others to do the same. So if you have ever tried challenging certain African cultural and societal doctrines, or if you have ever felt like it is about time that we confronted these issues in our African community and do better as a people, or even if you have always been interested in learning about the experiences of other Africans growing up in Africa and the diaspora, then you are in the right place. Welcome to Living African. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Living African podcast. So I am your host, Anya Fombat, and I am here with two of my friends who will be here to share their story with an aspect of mental health. And basically, we will be talking today about postpartum depression and everything surrounding it, basically the postpartum experience. So this is obviously in honor of May, which is the Mental Health Awareness Month. And I have here with me Baoline and Agbor Eyong, and they're a wonderful, beautiful couple, Cameroonian by nationality, and they live in California, I believe. And so I'm really happy to have both of you here, Baoline and Agbor. Can you guys just tell the audience a little bit more about yourself? I'll go with you first, Baoline.
Hi, I'm Baoline. He's Agbor. He's in the Navy. We have 2 kids, 2 boys.
Yes.
The last one is 17 months, I think.
Yes, 17 months. Mm-hmm. And anything you have to add, Agbor?
Well, my name is Agbor Eyong, and I'm in the US Navy, but I'm at the class. So it's my wife, Meshi Eyong. So we live in California. We've been here almost 4 years.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. So like Baoline mentioned, you guys have 2 kids. So I'm sure you guys have, experienced that a 4th trimester 2 times, right? So can you guys both walk us through, at least Baoline, can you walk me through the postpartum experience? I'll start from you based on your own experience, and then I'll go to Agbor to talk about his own experience with the postpartum experience, especially from the second child.
So we had our first child 7 years ago, and then we planned for the second child. So I got pregnant in January, and he was in California, I was in Houston. I was working the whole time, pregnant, living with Baoline. And
Baoline is your sister.
My twins, yeah. So the whole process was good. The pregnancy was okay. I had the baby. He came to Houston. We had a baby, and COVID, people don't visit you in COVID. And 2 days after I had the baby on the 1st, I think on the 5th, when we got back from the hospital. I woke up on a Tuesday. That was a Tuesday, and I could not stop crying. Like I was cry. I had something on my armpit, so I thought it was the pain. Yeah. So I would cry nonstop. I could not sleep for nothing. I could not eat. Just the sight of food makes me cry.
Right.
Seeing the baby makes me cry. I cannot hold the baby for more than 30 minutes. I'm like, take him. Because then I start having thoughts like hurt the baby, throw the baby away. And first everybody's like, oh, maybe you're just having baby blues. It's nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, let me go to the hospital and take care of this thing in my armpit, because people are saying that it's due to the breast milk. Then you have that, it's like ball from your armpit. Yeah. So I went to the hospital, and then they gave me that form. I filled it out. I'm like, everything they're asking me is practically what I'm going through. Not sleeping. So I'm practically going through something. And she told me, go see your doctor, go see your primary care doctor, your cardiologist. Oh, what is it called? Your
PCP. Oh, your OB/GYN. Yeah.
So my OB, she's from Nigeria, Bola. So I went there and I told her I was going through. She was like, oh, you have postpartum depression. I've never heard of postpartum depression before. So I had to take on my phone and Google what is postpartum depression. I'm like reading at the symptoms. And some people are saying that it's going to take like 6 months, 7, a year, 2. It just depends on how you deal with it. And I told her I was moving to California. And she was like, oh, that's not a good idea. Right now, you need your village, you need your people, you need to be around people that you know, people that you love. And it just went downhill from then. For the first month, I think I cried every day. I could not, it's like the house was closing in on me. I could not sit in the house. I have to sit in my garage. I have to sleep outside. Even when it's raining, I practically have to go outside to the bouncer or put the dining chairs outside and sleep there. And I still could not sleep. I was losing my mind because I was not sleeping. I was not eating. It was crazy. It was like the worst feeling ever. I had that mentality that you cannot tell people that you're going through this. So I could tell my family. I'll tell Jerry will call my little brother. He'll come and watch the baby so he can sleep and I can get a little sleep. My dad, Baoline. But those are the only people that knew about it. So it got worse because I think we're not talking about it. And you remember the day you came over to visit? Yeah. Just like, I need to talk to somebody. Then I need to talk to somebody that understands, that have been through this. Yeah. And I remember calling my pastor. He was like, what is postpartum mean? So he was just praying a general prayer because he never knew what postpartum was too. Yeah. I called this girl from my church, one of my friends, Juliet. And I explained everything to her. I'm like, Juliet, I've been crying. She listened and she was like, Baoline, I went through the same thing when I had my twins. I'm like, really? Somebody that finally understands. Because even my family, they've never seen it. So everybody's just trying to talk you off the ledge. Like, you'll be fine. You have a beautiful baby. Why are you crying? But they don't know what's going through your mind. So she told me, said, I went through the same thing. I look at my child like I was going to kill them. I was going to kill myself. And I said, what did you do? She said, I was praying the whole time. So she said, I'll call you every day. We'll pray every day. If you start having those thoughts, call me. Even if I'm at work, I'll come out of work and we'll talk about it. And I will call her every minute. We will pray. There were days that even just listening to gospel music or even just seeing the TV freaks me out. Yeah. I practically go sit outside in the garage and just watch cars. And even with that, my husband was still scared. He was like, oh my God, I'm practically scared that you will run away into the road and stuff like that. So it got worse when I think we were taking the baby to the hospital and on the freeway, I practically opened the car door to jump out. And he was driving and holding my hand and trying to close the door. And he was like, nah, this is it. So he started calling everybody like, oh, she needs help because I'm about to take her to the psych ward right now. I cannot do this. And Molly was like, okay, bring her, let me take her out. Maybe if she goes out with people. We went out for a dinner. The food was just making me cry. I could not stop crying. I would practically walk out of the restaurant. And I remember Jerry and one of my cousins, Mercy, she will follow me because my whole thought was just go out of the restaurant. It's a busy road out there. Just walk in. Yeah. And I was moving. Everybody was confused, like what is going on? Nobody have ever experienced that. I tell you, just when I get up in the morning, I'm thinking, I have to brush my teeth. And I'm like, oh my God, if I put the toothbrush in my mouth, I'm going to choke and then I'll die. Or if I have to take a shower or drown in the shower. The thoughts were just popping out. And I went through that for about 4 months. There were days that I just had to drive to Baoline's house, sleep outside in her house because that was safer rather than sleep outside my house, or sleep outside in her house. And I had a chair there. Like that was when I could sleep. Or when my husband is taking Nolan to school, I will go with him.
And Nolan is your firstborn.
Yeah, Nolan is my firstborn. He would just park the car because he knew that was the only way I could sleep in the parking lot, or sleep in that car. The thought of going back to that house is like every time I'm in my house, everything there was just telling me to kill myself. Right. So we drove to California. I think that was the longest sleep that I had for that 2 days drive, 19 hours drive that I've had in a while. We came to California. I'm like, oh, okay, new place, different room. First night, tried to sleep on the bed. Same thing, had to go to the living room, back to sleeping outside. He was the one watching the baby. But before I left Houston, I told one of my friends too, I'm like, let me tell people, because Cameroonians, we don't talk about this. People, they go through it, but they don't talk about it. So I called one of my friends, Vera, and she drove to the house to watch the baby so we can both sleep. and she saw what I was going through, how I could not sleep. And she decided to like tell the women in my church. And I don't think they understood what I was going through because I go, oh, feel better. Hope you get better. Oh, I'm praying for you and stuff. So had her mother, they'll come just to watch the baby, like Baoline sleep. But my mind could not work that way. Yeah. And the doctor was like, okay, you know what? I'll give you some meds that will help you through this. So she gave me some pills. It makes you feel better. I didn't know that you have, before you stop taking it, they have to win you out of it. So I just cut off it completely. And that is when I finally, it's like I just go.
It's like relapse.
Yeah.
And it was
exactly.
worse. Yeah.
And I'm calling Baoline. I'm like, Baoline, it's like I'm getting worse. She's like, dude, you don't have to stop taking the medication. You just went from back to point one. And I told myself that, okay, I cannot keep living like this. It's like I'm going up, going down. The military, they will have like few ladies that will call to check on your mental health, talk to you and stuff. And then I call one of my friends. So the whole idea, I think what worked for me is having people around me that I could talk to. I have a friend, Chantal. So what she'll do is she'll come in the morning and like, Baoline, tell me about the thought. Tell me, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? Yeah. Okay, go brush your teeth. I'll be on the phone while you brush your teeth. Just remember, it's a toothbrush. She was just like a therapy to me. Like, it's a toothbrush. Nothing is happening. You're just brushing your teeth, After that, we pray. So it becomes my routine. Get up, brush my teeth, just one step at a time, pray, and I'll feel better. And then I'm sitting in the house. I'm like, oh my God, the door is falling. Somebody is coming in to kill me.
Paranoia.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I told myself I'm not going to take the medication anymore because if I take it, it's like I'll keep taking it forever. So I called my friend Juliet. I'm like, Juliet, she said, okay. I said, I want to fast. I want to let's just pray continuously about this. So she said, okay, I'll fast with you. So we started fasting and we're praying. And during that period, I was getting better. And then just a day close to the fasting, I could not sleep that day. And I called her. I'm like, it's like, today is just a bad day. And she said, it's because you're winning. The devil is just trying to play with your mind. We will finish fasting tomorrow and you will feel better. It's going to be totally different. And I tell you, after that fast, I felt way better. And what also helped me was Baoline has signed me up for kickboxing. So going out and working out like that helped my, just the happy part. But it took me about 6 months to actually get to where I am right now. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. You unpacked so much, and we definitely will revisit certain points that you had made. And just to clarify a few things that you said, just for people who may not know. Now, the form that you were talking about is like a depression survey form. I really forgot the specific name, but they always give every woman who goes back, I think they give it a couple of times at the pediatrician's office when you go to the child's visit. And you also go back to check yourself at 6 weeks or 8 weeks at OBGYN's office. And an OBGYN, again, is just a obstetrics and gynecologist practitioner. So they give you that form for you to fill to really assess your level of if you are depressed or not. Now, if you're depressed, they give you certain solutions. They can either prescribe you medications or they can refer you to a couple of counselors or therapists who will help you, So it's very important. They do that to all women here in America, and this is specific to America. But, one thing that I noticed was that they don't do that to men, which I feel like it's a big gap that needs to be filled, because the men are also there to support the women, and the men equally go through the same things. Now, the women actually have the hormonal imbalances and the up and downs and movements all over the place. But even though men don't have the hormones, they still go through that stuff like that, right? And we definitely will talk about that eventually. But again, talking about the whole aspect of postpartum depression, I'm a pharmacist, and I honestly knew about postpartum depression, but I did not really know the extent to which it could go, right? I mean, our community, a lot of people could probably know about it, but they have no idea, like the kind of things that could happen or how serious it can get. And I feel like that's one thing that I did not understand until I was in the same position. I honestly feel like I had borderline depression postpartum when based on the survey as well. They tried to recommend me some therapists and also some medications, but I declined the medications just because I didn't want to get tolerant to it and dependent on it. But I tried to do some meditation and look for different ways to help me, which I still feel like I'm still getting out of that mental blur, but it's a very slow process and I'm being patient on myself. But the reason why I really wanted us to talk about this topic was for reasons as such, because a lot of us just hear about postpartum depression, but we do not necessarily understand the extent to which it could go. So going back to you, Agbor, like I said, postpartum, when it has to do with men, they're not really, that's not usually the focus, right? They talk more about the women. And that's why I really wanted you on here, because I wanted our community to normalize the fact that it also impacts men, and also normalize the idea of men speaking up about such things. So it's not only about the women. I really want to thank you so much for, even offering your voice to talk about that. Now, can you tell us your own experience?
Oh, man. My experience is, I really do not like people. I will not want anybody to go through what I'm going through.
Right.
It was a tough one to me.
Yeah.
It came up to me unaware. Like at some point in your life, you see yourself right here.
Yeah.
You get up, you slept and get up in the morning, and you find yourself down there.
Yeah.
That's what happened. That's how I felt like, okay, what is going on with my family? Like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So I flew back from California, came to Texas, visit my family, excited. But I noticed a difference with her though. Even before I flew in, see, my son was 5 years old at that time, 5.5, 6?
5.5, yeah. No,
6, yeah. He said, I will give him all the credit. He did all the work.
Oh.
At 6 years old, he was taking care of his mother.
Oh.
When I talk about taking care of his mother, he was there. And you would think some other kids would need therapy like him. Some other kids would probably want to start acting some differently.
Yeah.
But he was so focused. He did not cry at no time. At some point, he would cry when he went to certain level of it. Mm-hmm. But at the end of it, he was focused. He was gentle. He was tactical. He knows the moment when that period, that it kicks in. He knows what to do. He knows everything. So right before I flew in, he would keep me updated. Hey, Daddy, Mommy was brushing teeth. I was crying. She started crying before she gave birth. She would brush her teeth. She would start coughing, choking, feel like choking, and then start crying. And he'll call me when I call. He knows how to use his mom's phone. He called me. Hey, Daddy, Mommy was crying this morning again. I was like, what happened? She was brushing her teeth, and I heard her crying. I said, so what did you do? He said, I just grab her and I tell her she'll be okay. She'll be fine. I said, that's good. That's good. Just keep doing it, okay? Everything, just call me, call my phone, okay? If you cannot hear me, just speak. You know when the voicemail, say, yeah, I know the voicemail. Say, yeah, just tell me in plain voice, okay? Just tell me anything and I will call back, okay? So he was keeping me updated. So when I arrived, the first thing, I was looking at her right into her eye. I'm like, honey, you okay? And I was excited to see everybody as usual. And that night, it was better, it was good. But in the morning, when she had brushed her teeth, when I saw the little, she tried to hide it, she tried to hold it on, but something was already in there. So it came out. I said, I don't know. I feel every time I want to brush my teeth, and this always happen. This keep happening, and I was like, I don't know, you'll be fine. Just I know you used to have this. Some of this when you were not even pregnant, so probably just the same thing. But stop going
all the way back, right? That's what I do sometimes. The gag.
Nothing is stuck in your throat. You say no, but every time this little mucus always come out. I was like, well, it's okay. It is not there. You just going back and taking it. It's leave the thing to be there. It's not disturbing you. Mm-hmm. So that come to pass. We were good after that. We went in the hospital, had a baby. Everything was fine, beautiful. Everything went. The birth was good. Everything was nice. So when we came home, it was okay for the first couple of days, and after that, she could not sleep. The first thing she started was, it is hot in here. I said, honey, the temperature is at 50 degrees. Like sometimes it goes up to like 50. The whole house is freezing. I said, first of all, have a baby in here. We got to reach the temperature. And you're still hot. It is still hot in here. That's what so okay. I was like, okay, you exaggerate right now. We have a baby, so go check. AC turn down. Then come to the point, it was just going up. Every episode of it. During the day is beautiful. During the day should be look much better. During the day we will have a good conversation. We have a good time, but she will not eat. That's where my issue is. She will not eat. She will eat a couple bites. And my son was like the watchdog. Daddy, she's not eating again. Daddy, she'll give me every update. So she was like, I have an appointment, to go see the doctor. So we went to see the doctor. Then I was like, go ahead. I'll stay back here. I'll stay in here. You just go talk to the doctor. Then like, hey, the doctor named me. I was like, okay. So the doctor told me, hey, it's a postpartum depression. And with everything that you guys said, it's a severe one. But it does not reach to the climax of it. We can work it out.
Yeah.
And at that point, people might think we need prayers. Literally what the doctor literally was, she said, take your medications. Those medications will help. A lot of times, we Africans, we think maybe from family member attacking us, or think maybe some traditions they have a role to play with it.
Yeah.
So he was like, no. He said, I first suppose we go to church. Like, no, only prayers. The devil will take role. They will take control. He said, I'm not going to say no to any of these points, but know that sometimes medications can also help.
Medications help, yeah.
So I like, what, we're going to do both sides, okay? We're Christians, so we're going to do the same. We're going to follow the rules, okay? We're going to stay religious side, and we're going to do the medication side, okay? We're going to put all together, sandwich it, and see how it's going to work. We tried that, but there was one medication that's like for sight patients. So since her sister was a nurse, she was like, no. This medication is for psychic, like real mad
psychosis, people. Yeah.
No, you're not taking that medication. Because she took it once, her sister saw it like, no. Stop taking that medication. It might get you more worse. You're going to take you to the path of like really, it's going to make you really crazy. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, don't take it anymore. Then there was one that she was taking it, the one that gave her dry mouth. Is that? I can't remember what was giving her dry mouth. It's going to help her sleep.
Yeah, a lot of depression meds give you dry mouth, actually.
Benadryl. So
you mean Benadryl? Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Benadryl, yeah.
Benadryl give her dry mouth all the time. She still cannot sleep. This is how it works.
Wow.
At that point of my life, I was a father. I was a mother. I was a husband, and I was a wife.
Right?
See, it was. I'm not going to tell you this. That's the worst part of my life. Sometimes in my life, I didn't want to talk about. I don't really like talking about this situation. It gets me emotional.
Right.
Because when I look at what I went through, my family, and up to now, I give God the glory because I know how it happened. At some point, I was like, "Wow, am I back to normal life?" Because at that time, my life was miserable. I turned around, looked around, and said, "What are people having 6 kids? Did they go through all this?"
Right.
Anybody go through all this? Now I have to respect the people that went through all this. But then again, I was like, no, I'm still in this mess. How do I get out? So we had these family members, like she said, the dad would come, the sister would come. She also has a job. She work overnight. Sometimes she would come and just take a look and like, hey, I have to go home. I'm tired. I'm sleepy. So she had to, drive back home. The brother come. So the thing is that during the day, she's much better. She will cry. She will not eat. Nothing will go through her mouth. Nothing at all. So I have my aunt who came. I call my. See, it was a point I called because she didn't want me to call anybody. Like make that general call outside. Mm-hmm. The first place I said, no, I'm gonna call my aunt. First of all, I have to tell my aunt that hey, the baby's here. But then again, I have to tell my aunt what's going on. Mm-hmm. So I called her and said, hey, the baby says she's excited. I'm like, but I think my wife is going to go through something. And immediately she denies it. She drove there. She put on 2 masks just to make sure that immediately she walked in, she washed her hands, sanitized again before she grabbed the baby. Then that's what she was telling us. So she came by, bought food and everything. I literally ate all the food. I was the one eating all the food. You know, that's my point of it. So now she was saying at some point then it wasn't helping. And I went to church and I go to the forum. I call my family. I said, please, this is what we're going through. I need help. And immediately I said, I need help. There were phone calls left, right, back to back. So they called people. So people start calling. What she did was calling. See, I'll give credit to her friend, Juliet, because when their family members of the church people keep calling, Juliet was there spiritually helping. It was a tough time.
Yeah. Calls are usually not enough. I mean, it's a good thing, but honestly, if we're being, like real, calls are not enough. Like we need presence. We need
that is just during the day, though.
Yeah.
At night, nobody is there. So they will do all that. Then at night, that's when the episode starts. She will not eat. She will cry. I can barely sleep. I'll beg her and say, can you just, he said, honey, sleep. The one thing I'll give her credit as well, she was fighting it internally. She fought it. Okay, she didn't just give up. Sometimes she'll say, let me have my baby. I said, no. Are you sure? You say, yes, let me have my baby. I'm a little better right now. She'll hold the baby. 50 seconds later, she's like, can you have your baby back? I was like, are you sure you don't? I was like, okay. Everything was so bad at night. Like she would not sleep. I would not sleep. And some people will say, okay, we have some family. Like Jerry comes over, Grandpa comes over, and she can help me sleep as well. But the point is that my presence is what she needs. Yeah. She was talking to me. She feel like without me present, nothing is happening. Yeah. So even if somebody is there to watch the baby, I'm going to stay awake to watch her.
Watch her, yeah.
At the end, I'm still will not sleep. In 24 hours, I can have segments of sleep of 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. You put together, maybe I'll have maybe an hour, 30 minutes. Yeah. That's why I sleep. When she goes down, she's like, okay, I'm feeling better. She'll close her eyes. 15 minutes later, she'll wake up and just like she's seeing some ghosts and just start screaming. I was like, okay, what is going on? Everybody. So when I got the kids ready, this one baby is there, change the baby. I got the other little boy. I said, you okay? I'm impressed with him because I really have to worry about my 6-year-old. He will take care of himself. I really have to worry about him. I was so impressed about him because he made it so easy for me. So he like, Daddy, I got this. Take care of the baby. I will get this stuff myself. I know where things are. I know where the other stuff is. So he will go and get it. Going through all of these, I said to myself, what is going on with me? At one point, I went inside and I burst it up. I had to cry.
Yeah.
I cried hard.
Yeah.
A good 5 minutes. Hard.
Yeah.
Then my son almost caught me. That's one thing I was scared because he was keep talking to me. Daddy, you okay? You've been there for a little while. I said, no, I'm coming right now. So that's when I stopped. So he called me at 5. Probably I'll probably cry in the next 10 minutes. But he called me a little bit short. Like, no, can't do this. I said, I gotta be strong. I start talking to myself and say, hey, gotta be strong. There's nobody gonna help you. This is your family. You got to be strong. You got to handle it. You're going to find strategies how to do it. You're going to find a way. You're going to figure it out. So I had 2 weeks of military leave. At that time, there was 2 weeks of military leave. Well, 3 days before the end of the 2 weeks, I didn't see myself coming. I didn't see anything.
Of course, yeah.
Called my supervisor, my first class at the time. I called her and said, hey, I'm in a deep mess. I don't know if you know about it, but my wife have going through some stuff after birth. She's like, oh, I heard about that. Postpartum. I said, yeah, the severe part of it. She got it. The first thing she said, how do you want me to help? How can I help you? I said, I need more time. He said, how many days do you need? I said, as many as you can give me. How many can you give me? He said, hey, you want a week? I said, you know what? Give me a week. Give me a week and a half. Just give me a week and a half. She's like, okay, I'm going to process the paperwork right now. Like that morning, I called her at 0900 in the morning. And by noon, she told me, hey, you got to approve. I'm like, thank you. That's a help. That's a major help I need. I need it right there. So now I look at it. At some point, she was thinking she didn't want to move to California at that time. She's like, I should stay with my family. I said, but you got 2 kids. You cannot be here by yourself. I need not only the fact that you go be okay, but I need all of you. I need you all right now. Because I already have a home ready. I've prepared everything. I have a home ready for y'all. Y'all need to come with me, please. Getting everything come with the fact that she had to leave the community where she was, the community that helped her, that was giving all the help. She went back down.
Oh my God.
She went back down. She started getting worried, like, oh, who's going to help us over there? I said, are you sure the military are going to help me? I said, yes. We're going to go to family free. They're going to give us the assistance. I have focus. My supervisor already told me that once you get here, give me a call and we're going to do this and do this and do that. So I believe in her. So let's just go. I bet you just the thought of her leaving her community, her family, the whole situation went back down. She started getting scared. She get all scared
paranoid.
about it.
Yeah.
Paranoid. Like I was really, really scared about it as well. But I made all the plans. I made everything ready. Luckily, her dad decided to
come with you guys.
Come with us. Oh man, he helped us a lot. When he came here, he stayed for like 10 days before she left. At that point, she gets better. That's why her friends with all the prayers and what they call her, Chantal. She did a good job, man. I don't know how to thank her. After everything, prayers has a major role to play in this. Because it helps you keep it focused. Mm-hmm. My family, my mother will always call her as well. At that time, she was still in Africa. Mm-hmm. She will call her every day and pray with her, talk to her. Her sister in Cameroon as well, she will call her and just keep her talking. I call them and say, all you need to do is talk to her. So that thought of thinking of anything negative should go away. Keep talking. Keep her in a positive mindset, so she can get all this stuff out of it. Because I was almost losing it, but I thank God I was strong enough to handle the situation. I don't want any man to go through all this.
Yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, both of you guys really went through it. I really want to thank you, especially and you both basically for sharing this, because we have so much to unpack. A lot of people really think that when you hear depression, it just means the person is just, sad all the time. Yeah, that's a major factor to that. But there are so many things that, also happen, and I really like when not that I like the fact that you cried, but I like the fact that you shared that, because that goes to show your most vulnerable state that you were in, and you're human at the end of the day. You just had to break down. Because when you were talking all through, I was just wondering, how did you manage to keep yourself together, through all of that? Even before that, how did this affect your mental health? Because we're talking now about how the state of Baoline's mental health, but what about you? How did the lack of sleep, which is a huge factor for brain fatigue and even depression as a whole, how did that affect you and your mental health, the whole situation?
See, being in the service, in the military, the U.S. Navy, you were taught how to work long hours, stay awake against it. Yes, that resilience, that perseverance, you got to go to endurance. You got to know how to keep yourself awake. You know how to keep your mindset stay focused on what you want, what you do, your goals, or what you're doing. So with that being said, or with that training, that's what kind of molded me up. Because with that sleep, the number of sleep that I had and the number of time that I was awake, it wasn't easy for me. But again, personally, I'm a personal fighter. Mm-hmm. I always fight things. I pray a lot. So those things really also has a role to play with me. Mentally, as I said, the only thing that really kind of made me strong was I had to cry. Because when I cried, it really
sort of relief.
It aligned me back to hey, you need to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to
step back and
come back, get it all together. Let's get it done. This crying will not help you. Nobody's here to help you and your family. You are the man. You got this. And I said to myself, yes, I did. I do got it. So sometimes, I don't know, myself, I didn't want nobody to leave. And when the living would get to nighttime, I was like, oh my God, I'm on this game.
Yeah. It's like you dreaded nights. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that was something that I also experienced when we had the baby. Because like I had mentioned to you guys off record, my husband and I, when we had our baby, around that same time, Omicron, the virus, that's the COVID virus, the strain, it was actually prevalent at that time. It was just discovered. So a lot of people had that. And literally when I had the baby, a majority of our close people had COVID. So and they just had it. It's not like they had it and then it was getting finished. No, they just had it. So a lot of our village could not come and visit us for like almost 2 weeks. So those first 2 weeks were brutal. It was just both of us together trying to figure this thing out. I honestly did not even know about what to expect from postpartum depression. I remember, I knew about it, but even before I had the baby, like there were some classes that I took, some labor and delivery videos and articles that I had. They were always like, trying to talk about postpartum, sharing all these resources, postpartum. I'm like, why are they doing this? Like, I mean, I know that it happens, but I didn't even go into read as to, what causes postpartum depression. Like, what are the triggers? I know it's depression after you had the baby, but what are the triggers? What are the signs and stuff like that, but I kind of, had some kind of reference, especially from, having an idea of what you went through, Baoline. I was like, okay, I know that if I start, feeling this kind of way, maybe I should, take a step back and really see if, what's going on and stuff. But I also remember when I had the baby, I was just crying, like I would cry like 3-4 times a day. I mean, my situation wasn't as bad as yours per se, but I was always feeling down. I was always forgetting to eat. I didn't even have any motive to eat. Like my husband would always remind me to eat. Even when I want to eat, I don't even know what I want to eat. Even the food people brought, I just did not want it, And when you had your own episode, Baoline, I remember, because I was with Jerry at that time, like we were living together. Jerry's your junior brother. And I remember at that time, he didn't really explain it well, but we knew that something was wrong with you. But then again, I really didn't appreciate what was wrong with you at that time because I really had no idea about what you were going through as a whole, and then I remember we came to visit you and we brought food. I really cooked the food and everything. I don't even remember if you ate or anything, but I just remember that you were crying. I remember one time you had to go to the room because you were just crying. And I just assumed that, you weren't feeling too well and stuff, I really didn't look into it that much as in this is part of the depression and this is what you're going through and stuff like that. But having maybe just experienced it a little bit with you, it really goes to show that it can get really intense and very serious. And this is also one of the reasons why I want us to have a conversation and also to know that it doesn't only affect women, it also affects men, as Agbor has elaborately explained it, right? So I know there are probably a lot of differences between this experience and what you guys faced in the first time when you had Nolan. Like, what aspects really caught you guys by surprise when you look at both instances from when you had Nolan 7 years ago and now?
Well, when I had Nolan, when I had him, I too was sick. I had heart failure. The doctor said that my heart had, because I went home and then I could not breathe. And then he brought me to the hospital. I was in the hospital for a week, 2 days after I had Nolan. So the whole 7 years before Israel, I had to go to a cardiologist over and over and over to make sure that there's no fluid in my heart or my lungs and anything. And he had to be like, okay, now you can have another baby if you want to. So then with Israel, we know that I was 24, right? We're all young. Baoline was in nursing school. My sister Mary, she's in the military now. She just came from Cameroon then. She was living with us. Jerry was pretty young. Everybody was excited. Then the previous year, we just lost my mom. So everybody needed something at that point. Like they needed something to hang on to. And Nolan was that child. Like everybody was there. I'll tell you that I barely raised one. Yeah. I was not there. I went back to work after a month and I was in the hospital for a week. So when I came out, Baoline was there. They were taking turns taking care of Nolan. I never felt like I was a mother. that point. I think no one started calling Mary mom before me. I was so with Israel, I had like the full experience. Full experience. Due to COVID again, not being able to see people, all I had was work, Baoline, and he was in California. I didn't see you. I think I got pregnant. I came to California and I got pregnant in January. Didn't see him until I was having Israel. So it was just, and I think why like Noncha was crying when I was pregnant. You know, when you're pregnant, it's like something is stuck on your throat.
Yeah.
And everything you do is stuck right there. It was miserable. Then I have this back pain, and during the pregnancy, the doctor said a little bit of my meat hung on my bone. I tell you, I was dying. I could not sit, I could not walk, I could not do anything. And Baoline had to take off work. She had to like basically carry me everywhere. Imagine like carrying me with 7 months. I think I was 8 months pregnant to do everything and then taking care of Nolan. So it just, I think that stress during that period just carried over to when it backfired. Yeah, I tell you, for the 2 days I was not so, I was happy. I was excited when he goes out to drop off Nolan at school. That moment with the baby, just alone, me and the baby and TV, I was good. Until one day I was not. It's like all of a sudden it just hit me from nowhere. It's crazy. I don't think it's caused by anything. Do you think it's caused by anything? I think my doctor says it just happens. It happens to some women.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a multitude of things, right? Because especially as women, after, I could relate to that, your heat that you were feeling, because I'm always cold. But after I had this baby, that drastic change in the hormonal levels kind of has an impact, right? I believe that's a side effect, because I was hot. Like I was always hot. Yeah. It's like hot flashes or something like that, because the hormones are just all over the place for the first 6 weeks, and then they drastically drop and they just go. So you're just like, okay, your body's trying to figure out what the heck just happened. You literally unleashed a 8-pounder or 9-pounder out of your body, and everything is just like changing in a matter of like minutes. So things like that could potentially happen. And also it could, affect even, like our mood. Just the same as, when women are going through that time of the month and stuff like that, the mood swings and all of that. It's the changing hormones, So there's a multitude of things for sure. And, it's something that I would definitely not wish on anybody.
I think another thing that can cause it too is my prenatals, right? It was a prescribed prenatals. So I think what I read, and also my doctor had told me that, because the first thing they asked you is, are you still taking prenatals? What prenatals are you taking? So when I showed the military doctor, I told her that this is a prenatal I've been taking. She's like, did you stop taking it when you had the baby? I'm like, yeah, like the same day that I had the baby. She's like, oh no, you're not supposed to do that.
You're supposed to take it for at least 3 months after.
That's what she told me. So apparently, she said that might have spiked something in my hormones too, because I just stopped, and I should know that my prenatals are really, really strong. Yeah. Like they are really strong prenatals. She said mixing with the hormones can too cause postpartum depression. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So it's, it's just like your body was driving on high on all of these things, and then all of a sudden just take it out from the body. So that drastic change could also affect that, so basically from both of y'all's journey with this, and by the way, this also goes to show that postpartum depression doesn't only happen on your first pregnancy. A lot of people think that,
if your first pregnancy,
or if you've been there, done that, are you the first person to have a child or whatever. No. It can happen at any time to any woman after having the baby. So I just wanted to point that out. Now, considering both of y'all's experiences, right? How has the basically healing been? Like, how has your road to recovery been so far?
Your road to recovery been so far?
I don't think I have any recovery situation. I was just really excited the fact that I was able to go to work and come back to a happy home and a happy wife,
Right. Because very important.
Yes. It's a happy wife, happy home,
Right.
But before then, when it was the process, I had to hold her in the morning, give her a kiss. Honey, you okay? Can I go? If I should not go, let me know that now. And I'm going to stay back. No, you can go. I said, are you sure? You know my phone. Can you still give me my phone number? And she was like, Are you serious?
Practically stay in the living room and not move from that spot until she gets back.
Yes, she will stay there until like she will not. She started sleeping on the bed like after about yes.
Wow.
The healing process, I think after the fasting and praying, I started getting myself back. And then the workout, I was working out every day. It was exciting. I was getting myself back. And what finally got it for me was going to work. So I got a job and I started working. Not a good, It was like a crazy office situation. But the fact that I could go to work and come back, I'm like, do you know what happened to this girl at my job today?
Right. Just a change of environment.
Yeah, like a normal routine. I'm like, it's different. Because in Houston, the workers, my co-workers were friendly. But there, I'm like, do you know I've been sitting for 8 hours without talking to anybody? Nothing. I'm practically listening to a novel in my ear and nobody's talking to me. They're just reading people's moods. What's this one doing? Is this one married? Just talking to myself, trying to profile everybody passing by. Helped me a lot to drive out and come back home and not just stay at home all day. That really helps.
Talking about driving, I could not. It took me a while for me to let. I was hiding all the car keys in the house.
Yeah,
I don't want to drive because at some point I was like, I can have a flashback of you trying to jump out of the car when I was driving. So it was just playing in my head.
Yeah,
so
it was traumatic.
At first, before I let her drive, I said, okay, you're going to drive with me in the car first. So we're going to be driving. And okay, all right. I think you're getting better.
You were driving instructor at that point.
I still have those moments where right now, I think what it actually did for me is it brought me very closer to God. Like right now, if I'm feeling that way, like what my friend Shanta did, she gave me some Bible verses to post, like sticker notes to post them everywhere. Mm-hmm. If I'm passing, like I'm like, oh, do not be anxious for nothing. I'll just, Baoline, you're not anxious. Just read your Bible and pray. And there's this app called Abide.
Yeah.
It really helps. Like if you're going through depression, I'll tell people download it. It really helps. You have all this meditation, like you love, like it calms you down mentally a lot. And to talking to, like, I'll just, when I'm down, it's like, call your sister, call Maoli. You just call her. Or I have 2 elder sisters back home. And I'll realize that my siblings will start telling me about things that I don't even care about on a regular day, just to get the ledge. Like, you remember that lady that was living there? No, I don't. But just that communication help. I'm like, 3 o'clock, go to bed, 3 o'clock in Cameroon, just sleep. No, I'm not sleeping.
Yeah.
When you have people around you, when you share, because the whole thing was not sharing, going through it by yourself. We're Africans, you cannot be depressed, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's practically telling yourself to die, because the moment you start sharing, and to try to avoid people because some people will try to tell you, oh, I knew a girl who went through the same thing, she just killed herself yesterday.
Right. That's really discouraging.
And I'm like, bye, thank you.
Right. People have to be sensitive about what people are going through.
You just have to stay strong. People go through it. Yeah. A lot of my patients in the psych ward are going through postpartum. Now you start thinking all those negative thoughts are what you're thinking about. Like for me, that's what I was thinking. Oh my God, that lady fried her baby. Oh, take the baby. I don't want to do that. Those are not your thoughts, but they keep coming back to your mind. So avoid negativity. Just stay away from anybody that is just trying to tell you about other people's stuff, basically. That actually helps.
You have to be selective. Definitely.
I'll not
protect your mental health.
Yeah, if I know that you start telling me about somebody that happens, I'm not going to talk to you. I think I even lost my phone for a while. He had my phone. He'll pick up the calls. If it's my siblings, he'll give them to me, because I was just, I was just like,
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for sharing that. Now, what did you both wish you should have known before having this experience?
A lot about postpartum, a lot about mental health. I know there's mental health, but I never thought about it like, it doesn't really happen to Africans. So I don't even blame the Africans that don't know about it. It's just how we're raised. Like our mothers are heroes. They can have things and powerful food tomorrow. And it happens. So when
go to the farm and carry the baby and all that.
Exactly. And then when you go through stuff like that, like you're weak or you're not a woman. How will you go through how will you be crazy after having just 2 babies?
Right.
Like past 6 and I'm fine.
Right.
Then they go through it. They go, like you see some women are really angry. You talk to them, they are just like, hello. I noticed that talking to a lot of women go through it. They just don't know it's postpartum depression. So I think what I'll have done different is learn more about mental health in pregnancy, because mine was just severe. There are people that it actually gets them to do stuff. There are people that I think it's psychosis that is worse than the depression. It takes you for years. Some people never get back to their normal life. And I'm grateful that I was able to get back there. Honestly, I think it's always going to be a process for me. It's still there are days that the thought comes and I'm telling myself that no, I'm not gonna go to that place. I'm not gonna go there. I'll probably just carry the babies, try to distract myself or start, because I'm a loner, so I don't talk to people a lot. So I'm like, let me call Baoline. Let's just gossip about somebody. Just for the or say something
distract yourself,
distract yourself, because then you have the thoughts. Then you tell people, like educated people, and they're like, what is postpartum? I've never heard of it.
That's true.
Oh, Africans go through. I don't think Africans go through that. I'm like, wow. But I'm African. A lot of Africans go through it. It's not a race thing. It's just, it happens.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have anything to do with how strong you are or how big you are, or it just happens. A lot of Africans need to be educated on postpartum mental health in pregnancy and stuff, because I realized during mine that people were really clueless. Clueless. Everybody around me was trying to Google what postpartum was.
Postpartum, yeah, that's very true. Now, with you, Agbor, I really want to also use your own situation to pass a message on to our African men, because in our community, men don't cry, right? Men have to be strong. I always used to wonder, like, growing up, right? Of course, and and that makes him, honestly,
human.
That makes him human, and that actually makes him an even stronger man than people who doesn't, because he owns his vulnerability. You know what I mean? Honestly, I thought it was always weird, especially when I go to funerals and I see like men who have lost their wives or who have lost like a child, like close people, a sibling, and they don't cry. I'm like,
that's weird.
Didn't you lose someone that, like, I'm crying for you and you're not even crying? Like, what is wrong with you? That's how I looked at it, because I feel like
they don't have the feelings.
Yeah. And then the thing is, like, sometimes some of these men actually call that stereotypical outlook on themselves, because you are hurting and you don't want to cry because you don't want people to feel like you're not man enough.
Or you
really weak. And if you do that, people are gonna look at you that way, and that's not fair, because you're human. You know what I mean? So things happen and life happens, and we as humans, we have to embrace the natural reaction that we have to situations like that. Because believe me, if you didn't cry at that point, you probably would have done something worse. Crying is therapeutic, and I'm really glad that you openly shared that. I'm glad that you openly spoke about this whole experience, because at least it sheds more light to the fact that men, especially our African men, are also impacted by all of this. Our men are impacted, and our men should also speak up. And our men, I really wish that we can start a movement where we also focus on men's mental health when it comes to postpartum, because men are equally as impacted. Usually the men are the ones supporting the women when they have the baby, right? We're still healing. We still need, like, the man is literally the helper. You know how the Bible said the woman is like the helper and stuff. Like, in that case, I feel like the roles switch. Like, the man is literally the helper. And if the helper is just as if a woman is not happy or if a woman is in distress or whatever, it's like things fall apart. In that moment, if your only helper is not available for you, things are not going to work. And so just because the men are not the ones going through the hormonal changes, it doesn't mean that they're not also experiencing the ripple effect of those hormonal changes through depression, So I really, really, really want to thank you both for sharing that story and just sharing your experience. I hope that people can really learn and be more sensitive, and also just embrace the reality of postpartum depression and subsequently seek for help, because you have to accept that there is a problem and you have to accept that that is the problem before even trying to seek for help. So I really, really hope that, you know, a lot of people have learned a thing or two from your own experiences. And I hope that we don't have this conversation end here. I hope that we can continue those conversations and stuff like that. So I don't know if you guys have any last words to the community to, you know, just let them know what you think they should know about postpartum depression in women and in men.
You know, for me, not just, I think the first step is talking about it. Like when you have it, share it with people. Because the bottom line is people will not know what you're going through if you don't tell them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I'm going through postpartum depression, even if they are clueless. Because the people that are told, even though they were clueless, they still, they were able to Google it or research about it, and then they can know how to help you. And I don't think it just did not affect us. I think it affected, let me say, my whole family was affected, or the people that were close to me. I'm sorry that I saw him crying. A couple of times. He was just sit and cry. I saw Baoline just sitting in the bathroom and crying, or Jerry looking at me like I'm gonna break. And then it's a process.
Jerry didn't cry. Just playing. Hi, Jerry.
He will, the way he talks to me, it took him a while to start talking to me normally, like he talks to me.
Yeah, I know when Jerry is like, you know, when he's cautious and he feels bad.
He's counting his words.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, we're having a conversation. Just talk to me. Just stop talking like I'm going to break. Like, Are you not? Did you not just break? Like everybody, like my
everybody was on their toes.
My brother, he was scared the whole time. Like he wants to talk to me about things that are not, people start counting their thoughts. Like, but he just wants to talk about something else, something irrelevant, just to distract you. And then it takes a while to get back to regular you. Or when you're, I'm fine. You have to tell people, I'm fine. Even though some of them will not believe you're fine.
Yeah.
So it affects a whole, let me say, if you have a village, it affects your village.
Yeah, it does affect the village. Even the kids, especially the kids too.
And that's one thing that I learned during the whole process. I just read that if you're going through postpartum, your kids are affected.
Yeah.
They affect their motor skills, they affect their relationships tomorrow. And as parents, that's one of the reasons we need to talk about it. Just even not for us or our pride, or I think for our kids. Because I'll tell you that my son, he kind of grew more. He's more mature.
He is very mature at his age.
She's like, Mom, should I call 911? Sleep with you today. I'll sleep on your bed just to watch you. He's a child. He should not have to be worried about me. That's my job. That's how I felt. But he had to step up. Just without anybody telling him, he had to step up to his responsibility. I could tell you, up to today, my dad, the way he talks to me, he gets like really worried to even want to yell or So it affects a whole bunch of people. So, but going through that is, I always tell my family, I'm like, you know what we need to do? We need to go to this place where they break stuff and just break things to release your anger, because it is there. It's always going to be there. That's an experience that we will all carry for the rest of our life. And Jerry was like, I don't think I want to have a child. Like right now, he's
that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like right now, Jerry.
Yeah, even after he saw what we went through, Jerry baby sad. Jerry and my brother Musaga, they were like, "Bruh, this is hard." Like,
and Baoline had a little dose of it too. Baoline had a little dose. She could not stop crying. She had a little dose of it too. And now Jerry's like, he went through it. Jabi went through it. Baoline went through it. I'm not having kids. So that's a scar in his mind that is going to take him a while to get it right. So the whole thing is talk about it. Just share it with people. Tell when you're going through it, talk about it. Don't just keep it, because a lot of people do. They don't talk about it. A lot of people just,
because they're like, oh yeah, it's just temporary. I'll get over it. But what if you don't make it past it?
And then then they end up pregnant themselves or the baby.
Yeah.
Or you end up going to the worst stage where you cannot even come back from it.
Yeah.
I'm so happy we talk about this, Jan, because I was telling myself that I need to talk about it with somebody else, like who have been through it too. And it feels good to hear. I'm get it off his chest, because
I hope it feels better getting it off your chest.
It's like, I don't want to talk about that period. It never happened. It never exists. I was not there.
Right. Yeah, at some point you got to face it and, actively make that decision to get over it, because putting it behind or under the rug is just going to sit there until one day you will find yourself in a situation that will give you that PTSD, and it would be like a flashback, like a deja vu. And then the way you react to it, you'll be surprised at how you react to it, just showing that you never really got over it, you know? So, I mean, I'm so glad that you guys both, you know, came on here to talk about it. This will definitely be an episode that I hope will help a lot of people and give them perspective, give them insight. I hope the Google searches for postpartum depression will increase, and hopefully we can all educate ourselves on very important aspects like this at home and abroad. So I just want to thank you both, Baoline and Agbor, for coming on here to share your experience. And I wish you all the love, all the healing, all the positive vibes. Until next episode.
I wish you the same too. You keep getting better. I told you, if you want to talk, I'm here.
Yes.
And thank you so much for having us.
I know. Thank you so much. And I'll catch you in the next episode.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
That's it for today. Thank you for listening to our show. If you want to participate in the show or find out more helpful resources, then visit www.livingafricanpodcast.com for more information, or email us at hello@livingafricanpodcast.com. Also, don't forget to connect with us on all social media platforms at Living African Podcast. You can also connect with Anyo directly on Facebook or Instagram at Anyo Fambard. Thanks again for listening, and let's not forget to be more understanding and nicer to one another.